The character that you're creating, can you talk about her again?
Yeah, I wanted a wounded child, like an adult, but a wounded child, somebody who like is still stuck in the past because of all this baggage. That's my thing. That's my speci what my specific thing is that she's a broken child, a wounded child, a frustrated child, but she's all those things because she's stuck in the past. She feels that she can't connect with her peers and her coworkers because of this untraditional upbringing that she had, where she feels like she was abandoned by her father and just shipped off to college at a really young age because she just happened to be super smart. So she feels abandoned by him. If you see her at a party, she would seem down and out of place. It's not hard for me to do the interview technique. It's hard for me to do it all the time. And since you had me do that last week, and I was like, okay, this is what this feels like for this character, I kind of wanted to, I mean, I guess you would kind of consider this like a 180 degrees of a different type of character. It's just not kinesthetically in my body yet. So that was my goal for today. She works in PR. She's used to getting what she wants. She's assertive. She's direct. She's confident. What she's thinking pretty much all the time is, I'm fucking fabulous and I always get what I want. Have you ever seen the Dr. Dolittle movie with Eddie Murphy?
No.
Okay, so I just, there's this dog character in Eddie Murphy because he's Dr. Dolittle. He can hear the animal's thoughts, and there's this dog I identify so much with. He just keeps jumping, 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 trying to get his owner to throw the ball. He's like, throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball. Oh my gosh, he threw the ball! When I saw that, I was like, oh, my spirit animal. I understand. Using a thing for an image, I see her like a well, like a water well. There's all this stuff going on the inside, but she has this hard exterior trying to protect. She's the caregiver, she's the protector. She's like a bundle of love, but she will protect you, she will care for you, but if you hurt her, she's got her walls up. This interaction is with a gentleman that she was with for a long time, and then he left the country and she waited for him and he never came back, and then all of a sudden out of the blue here he comes. So to me, my thinking is this is not the first time they've met in the movie, but it's like what she's wanted to say, and like
Okay.
she hasn't had closure. The first take, I was trying to not make so much of the accent, but then I could hear when I came into it too much. So then the second time I tried to do it less. And then, but like for me, like when I do an accent, I'm like, it feels like this in my mouth. And then to do less, I'm like, push it farther back. So it was about the placement. And because it felt not as much, then everything else felt a little freer. When I said to myself, nope, the placement has to be here, then it was like, check that off the list. So then I didn't have to focus on it so much. Well, it's like the second time I it was okay. So when this is who Chelsea is, this is not this case scenario, but it's like somebody says something to me and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Versus like letting you say something, letting it float in my brain, and just maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. I would call it like campy comedy, like ridiculous. Like what they're talking about, it's like, is this really what's going on? But definitely comedy. There's many different versions of a comedy. Like you could have a dark comedy, an action comedy. To me, this is a campy comedy. This is not a scene that this character is in, but this is just an example of it was two different characters, a man and a woman. They were working in an office, and the man was defending my character, saying that she didn't really kill the boss, and the female character apparently didn't like my character, and so they're facing each other, and she gets like right in his face, and she's making her point, like, and the angle is like very like in your face. Here, everything is okay. Here's another example. The very first scene when my character is in the courtroom and she's like, well, I have an alibi. It's my boyfriend, but nobody can find the boyfriend. So like she's naive that he just wasn't there. And then so they're dragging the character away because the boyfriend never showed up for court. And so my character's sister is like, but wait, I have to talk to her. I have to talk to her. And then like, because you think that she's going to miss her sister. And then she ends up saying something like, I need the keys to your apartment and I need your car. Like, and that was the big reason that she needed to speak with her sister. I mean, like, I know this is not good, but this is what Chelsea does, is that it's if I'm like, this is the character and the character sounds like this, and then it bleeds into the technique of it, which is not good. but but that's what happens. Versus like if the like if this character was an instrument, to me, she's like a flute or a piccolo. Versus like if I'm playing a character that's more like a cello or a bass, I don't tend to do it as often. But like I said, I know it's not good, but I know that for me it's a thing. Like my view of how the character is sometimes negatively impacts my technique because like okay, so
Sure.
when I've been practicing, like because we've been working on the whole pulling back thing, I was practicing and I was like, wait a second, this doesn't feel pulled back. I don't feel like I'm in water. I'm doing something wrong. What's going on? And so then I was like, well, when I'm pulled back and like we're fully pulled back, it literally feels present, like physically present versus like going forward would be future, going back is past. So if everything, if energy, if physicality, if voice, if accent, because then that was has been a problem too. If accent is everything is like this, I have a thread and that's my playing space and that's it. That's all Chelsea gets. I was like, maybe that does it. But then I was like, I was nervous because I was like, I don't know if this is working, but that's my thinking. If this is a thing and if this works, this I feel like this could cross over into any genre. So you asked us to say our three personality descriptive words and then what is the genre? And so then I was like, okay, well, I know that for when I actually really read this for the first time, I was literally laughing out loud. And I read it to somebody else and they were laughing out loud. Just the writing is just hysterical. But I was like, I have read it so many times that it's not as funny as it was like I don't laugh out loud anymore. So then I was like, well, what if I gave a fourth descriptive word that's not it doesn't go in the character pool, but I was like, what if we put this fourth word to go with the genre just as something else to think about? So that was one thing I was trying. And then the second thing is that because my journey as Chelsea is always too vivid, period. So now that stuff is not all the time too vivid, in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this cinematic? Is this working? And so then I was like, wait a second, if it's a comedy and you have to find it funny, I was like, wait a second, there is a way, and I don't know if I could technically explain this, but I was like, you can lean into the comedy, me telling myself, and if you lean into the comedy, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to make me, Chelsea, overly vivid. Like it's two separate things. I
Yeah,
was,
of
I was
course. Yeah, of
concerned,
course, of course, of
yeah,
course. Yeah.
but I like didn't realize. I was like, what if I lean into romantic for her? Like as it I have fourth word because not as in romantic, as in I love you, I love this person, but that she has a romantic view of the world because she thinks things should be a certain way. And yes, my boyfriend wasn't there to be my alibi, but it's gonna work out as just as a different avenue to lean into. So that's me not trusting myself that I can do a genre without it not being cinematic. Like my usual problem, which is my idea then affects the execution. So now it's become my fear of the creation is going to affect the execution.
How
You know?
much would you charge for us to live in your head for 5 minutes? I just want to just for five. I
No,
don't think I could take more than 5 minutes, but 5 minutes would be amazing.
I'm expensive, John. My parents have always said I had expensive taste.